Hey guys, welcome to Love Week. This is Monday, the beginning of our Love Week, and we just wanted to give you a video as promised, just explaining what is going on this week. And I got Brittany. Hey, Brittany. Hey,
Hey.
Tom.
Brian?
We're going to get into this and give you the why, the what, and the how. What are we doing this week? Why are we doing it? And how are we doing it? So let's hop right into it. Let's talk about the why.
Well, before you ask, what are we doing? Why would we do it? And I just know that there are people in my life. There's people in the life of every person watching this video that, we're all going to stand before the Lord, and there are people that may not make it to that place of heaven and one day with God. And I think when I stand before the Lord, there's going to be times when I'm like, man, I wish I would have expressed the love of God to those people. I wish I would have done more. And so I think we've got to address that.
Yeah, and I think Love Week is the perfect time for us just to practice showing love and then sharing love so that we can really move into a place where we live out that God-given responsibility that we have. It's a good time to learn and overcome our fears so that we can make this a lifestyle.
And it's falling into the rhythm of this isn't just one week, but every day of your life, loving people the way that Christ did as a platform to share with them about Christ.
Yeah.
And if you think over the past year and a half or so, what's the cog in the wheel? What has probably got hindered or hurt the most with COVID and all the lockdown is our engagement with the community, our just mandate of evangelism. And we want to shake off the cobwebs. And we want you to do that individually, but that's also why we're focusing this week as a corporate body and doing those things to engage the community, show them the love of Christ, instead of focusing on the big projects of building and things like that, even though some of those things will be done on some level. So that is the why, and I'm excited about that because there is so much growth happening in our church in so many areas, and we want to make sure that we are developing this in our heart, not just in our action of 1 week out of the year. So Love Week, like Tom said, isn't a week. It's what we're trying to do as a people of God based off the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. And that's our mandates and that's our calling as a church, but the church is built up of individuals. So let's get into the what. So what's going on this week? Well, we've called what we're doing is Acts of Love all throughout the week, or AOL. Some of you don't know what AOL is. Ask your parents about their AOL Instant Messenger. It was the revolution of communication back in the day. But what we want to do is just commit to acts of love throughout the week. Let's give them some examples of acts of love that we could do engaging the community.
Yeah.
So something simple would just be like offering somebody a bottle of water or offering your coworker a soda.
Yeah. One of the things I like to do, well, the Lord often prompts my heart. I'm sitting in a drive-through line, and you may not have, and I've been there where I haven't had resources to do this, but the Lord says pay for the car behind, or you're sitting in a restaurant and you tell your family, hey, we're going to pick up their tab, and just engage people that way and let them know. It's often really good to give them something to connect them to the body. So if you have a way of doing that, you can.
Yeah, we're going to give you like each day a challenge in a particular area of your life. But there's a lot of things that you can do that are acts of love that cost no money and take very little time. A simple phone call to someone to say, I really appreciate you and I love you is an amazing thing. And if they're not a believer, it really becomes a platform for the gospel. To write a note to somebody or to show and express love to people in your own home is a great platform. We're learning how to be these people that just live out the love of Christ. And so we have to practice at home and we have to practice it there, and then we need to take it beyond that. So we're going to give a different kind of topic and challenge each day of the week. And then we're going to culminate on Saturday with a pretty cool experience, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment.
Yeah, so those things could even be like baking something for your neighbors or a family member or something like that if you have those skills. If you don't, stay away from the kitchen. So, but today our focus is you're doing it right now. You're watching this video. And we want you to choose somebody that all week long you're specifically praying for their salvation and their journey with God to be ignited. So maybe that's a family member, maybe that's a coworker, but we're asking that you as a family or a life group, that y'all commit to those names and just pray out loud agreeing together for that person. And then this video, we're asking you just to commit as a family or a life group to those projects throughout the week. So,
Let me say something about the prayer thing, Brian, because I think when you begin to think about, Lord, who would you want me to pray for, and who's the heaviest on your heart? When he said that, probably somebody came to your mind. What I'm going to challenge you to do is just take a sticky note or a piece of paper and tape it on your bathroom mirror just with the word pray. Because the person that you're praying for may be in your home, but sometimes we make commitments in our mind and we forget about them. But every morning you get up, you're getting your day ready for your day, and you see that little note, pray. And I've done that before. I've had those on my windshield of my car and other places where they're there for years. And I know it's telling me to pray for a particular person. So that reminder would be very helpful. But it's not just for this week. We hope that you'll continue to pray for that person until you see them actually make spiritual decisions and come to know the Lord.
yeah, I've even used my phone and my watch to set timers for once an hour or several times a day. And with directions, when it goes off, you can actually put some things in the subheadings. And I have people that I pray for multiple times during the day, several things that I pray for that I actually have alarms set on my phone to go off. And so set those rhythms. The reason we set those reminders is because, just to be honest, you need to be reminded. And what we constantly remind ourselves eventually becomes a rhythm in our life that honors the Lord, and God starts blessing that. And you'll start seeing people come to salvation in those instances. So that's today and tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. We want that to be your focus, is just start to prepare your heart. So on Wednesday, Brittany, why don't you take us through what we're going to be doing on Wednesday?
Yeah, so on Wednesday, we're going to actually start by loving the people that are closest to us. We're going to focus on someone in our home or in our family that we can intentionally show those acts of love to. And that might be something like doing a chore unexpectedly, or finally getting to the thing that person's been asking of you. It might be calling that person from work and just saying, hey, I'm thinking about you today. I'm praying for you. I love you. I'm thankful for you. We all have those things that it's sometimes hardest to love the people that are closest to us. So this is just an opportunity for us to really be intentional about loving our family. And maybe for you, it's a lost family member, and it's actually an opportunity to even plant a gospel seed and start sharing the love of Jesus with that person.
It could be a small gift or a note to that person, but something very simple that expresses love, to them. So great opportunity.
And sometimes the hardest people to engage with the gospel is our family. And that's something that we want to make sure that we're doing, because God put them right in our lives. We were born into this bloodline, and we desire to make sure that we're taking care of that. So here's what you need to understand about that is we do want you to do this act of love, figure out something to do for them. Maybe it's one of those things off of that we just listed. But we also want you to engage them with the gospel and share the hope of Jesus Christ with them, either for them to come back to faith or come to faith for the first time. And sometimes the family's the hardest because there's a lot of roadblocks there. So taking that step of faith early in the week is something that we want to get out of the way, because that'll inspire us to really take those huge steps of faith throughout the week.
Plus, what good is it to reach the whole world and not reach your own family? But one of the things that I would just encourage you with all of these days, these different emphasis, you might do something for someone and they say, well, why are you doing this? And I love this line that we learned years ago together, Brian. We want to give you a practical expression of God's love. God loves you and I love you. And this is just a practical expression of God's love. He's a giver. Mm-hmm. And I want to give to you, whether it's words of affirmation or a gift or a service, but it shows that it demonstrates love in a very tangible way. Mm-hmm. So pretty cool.
Yeah, so the Monday and Tuesday is focused on giving, not receiving from your family in some tangible way, but also verbally sharing the hope of Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. So Thursday, why don't you walk us through Thursday, because I think this is a pretty cool one.
Okay. It's interesting that most people in America today, if you have a garage, you drive in your garage and you shut the door and you don't even know who your neighbors are. And I've recently moved back to Wilkes, and I know some of my neighbors, but I don't know all of them yet. And so we're gonna challenge you with reaching out to those that live right around you, and to do an act of love towards somebody in your neighborhood that lives around you. And it may be somebody that you haven't met. It may be somebody that you have met. You know there's a need and you've been neglecting it. And by the way, I know we'll talk about this later, but I'll mention it now. We'd love for you, whatever happens, write it down and be willing to share either through a video or even a live testimony on Sunday what God did when you stepped out of your comfort zone. But if you see your neighbor has an issue in their yard, or maybe they just need someone to go sit with them. Sometimes the greatest thing you can do is just to listen to somebody. But all of it becomes a platform for the gospel. We're going to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And so you can see the progression here. We started with ourselves, right in our home. Now we're out in our neighborhood and we're looking at our neighbors.
And you might say, well, okay, I thought we were not supposed to let our right hand know what our left hand is doing. Why are you asking us to share? Well, here's the deal. We're trying to inspire our body to take those steps because nobody feels equipped. Nobody, and those of us who make those hurdles and take that step and see, oh wow, God did equip me to do this. I may have fears, I may have hesitations, but we will actually set up a chat group in Realm just for the people who have signed up for Love Week. Which is you, because that's how you got this link. And we'll make that available where we can actually have an active chat there where you can in real time share those things, and we'll compile a video. If you got a video testimony, you can send it to us and we'll let you know how to do that. But on Friday, what we want you to do is have a focus in your workplace with your coworkers or with a classmate at school. And I know you're on summer break, but just think about engaging a classmate. Brittany, since you are over our student ministry, what are some ways they can engage their classmates and show acts of love to their classmate? And then we'll talk about the coworkers.
Yeah, well, first of all, words of kindness just aren't said enough. And all of us have a phone in our pocket that we can contact people and let them know that we're thinking of them and praying for them. But another way is just grab some other students and have a cookout at your house or have a movie night and hang out and invite your classmates into that fellowship with other people who love Jesus and find ways to share the gospel through those activities.
Yeah, and speaking of students, Wednesday night, you might get inspired. If you are a student watching this or you have students in your family, you need to be here Wednesday night at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Because there will be some students doing the exact thing that we're asking you to do. And they're coming and they're going to share their testimony with strangers, people that they don't know. Some teenagers that are just like you and just like the teenagers in our church, but they're from another church and you'll want to be here. As far as coworkers go, often we punch in and we punch out. We do our thing. It's all business, but we're supposed to be integrating the gospel into all that we do. So maybe that baking the goods, have your spouse or somebody in your house that does have some baking skills. Maybe they can help you get some cookies, or just go to Walmart and get some, Pillsbury and throw them on a cookie sheet and throw them in the oven. If you can't do that, then it's not a lot of trouble.
Well, I can't do it, but I could buy something. I'm sure of that.
But yeah, just engaging and sharing the gospel, and we'll tell you some ways to do that here in just a minute. And then Saturday, why don't you tell us about what we're going to be doing on Saturday?
Okay, sure. Hey, it's great to get together, and Love Week has typically been a lot of projects. But on Saturday, we plan to meet here at the church at 10 a.m., and you'll be assigned different projects that we're going out to do in the community. And they're easy projects. I don't know, should we share with them or should we just surprise them on Saturday? It doesn't matter, but there'll be things that are very attainable for you to do in a team, and there'll be a fun thing to do, but it will represent the love of Christ in very practical and tangible ways out among groups of people in the community. And then we're going to meet at the Splash Pad in Wilkesboro, right in front of the old courthouse. And while we're there, your kids can get wet. You can get wet. And we're going to engage with people out there. We're going to bring some pre-wrapped snacks and waters that we will give out. And we'll do a training on how to do that. We don't ask, would you like water? We just say, would you like water or a snack? It's not a yes and no. It's a either or. And people tend to respond to that. But we're just going to get out there and then look for opportunities just to say, when they ask, why would you do this? Well, we just want to give a practical expression of God's love. And so we'll do that on Saturday to culminate. And then on Sunday, we're going to have some of these testimonies in the church service as a part of celebrating what God did and promoting this way of life of loving others?
Yeah, so basically what we're trying to do is create a story throughout the week. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all these social media platforms have stories, and we're in a sense as a church creating a story that we want to progress all the way through Sunday. So capture as much. If you're into writing, write that down. If you want a video, just video and just share and show the love of Christ.
Hashtag love Wilkes.
Love Wilkes.
Hashtag love Wilkes.